St. Louis is a movie town. We've got everything from the huge megaplex theaters that cater to the blockbusters to the smaller houses where you'll find indie films. You'll find me at both. My name is Dawn Meadows Dixon, and I've been covering movies and working as a film critic for nearly 30 years. I've covered the Oscars on the red carpet, movie premieres, interviewed hundreds of stars, and seen thousands of films. And it's my job to bring a bit of Hollywood glitz and glamour to the Gateway City. Welcome to On the Screen.
She won an Oscar for her role in Mighty Aphrodite back in 1996. Since then, she's done a number of television roles and film roles, and she's back with a new film, Do You Believe? Please welcome to the show Academy Award winner, Mira Sorvino. Welcome, Mira.
Thank you.
You know, this is an interesting film. It's done by the same folks that did the film God Is Not Dead. I love that movie, and it was one of the highest grossing indie films last year. This is the story of 12 people all searching for more in their life when one day all of their lives intersect. You play a young woman who's a widow, the mother of a young daughter who finds herself homeless. How did this role speak to you?
Well, I'm a mother. I have 4 children, 10, 8, 5, and 2. The idea of not being able to provide for their kind of most basic needs, shelter and safety and you know, a feeling of, you know, home struck me very strongly. You know, I could really relate to her struggle, her feelings of self-loathing and doubt and pain, and she's having a kind of crisis of faith.
Just because we're on the street doesn't mean that I'm a bad mother.
The film is about faith, and the fact is all of us are searching for more in life. What role does faith play in your life, both as a mom of 4 and at work?
Well, I'm Christian, and I go to church as often as I can, which is not always every Sunday, but you know, I have a strong faith and I have a strong relationship with God, so I try and teach my children the same.
To be able to do a film like this, to put it out on the big screen and have a lot of folks see the film, many of them maybe not believers, what does it mean to you to have that voice as an actor?
I think this movie is largely made for Christian people because it really delves very deeply into the meaning of what it is to believe and what the cross asks of us, what the concept of Christ on the cross really asks of us in terms of following in his path.
Shelter's closed. Okay. We'll be okay.
And that's going to be a problem, isn't it?
No, we have a car. We're good.
I know it's none of my business, but I don't think that's such a good idea. I mean, she needs to stay warm, doesn't she?
Yeah. So I think it kind of brings it to a sort of modern day
This may sound completely crazy, but
test of how you live out your Christianity, how it's not in name only, how it's in action. And it's through adversity, that it's not when things are, I mean, I remember my minister said a couple weeks ago that it's not when you're doing your greatest, when you're at your highest high, when you've got all the money, when you've got all the friends, you've got all the fame, whatever, that's not when you're closest to God. You're closest to God probably in your darkest hour, and that's when he relates to your pain and struggle as Christ did on the cross. And that's kind of where you have to find your faith and build from there. And that's why it's sort of a beautiful film for people who are suffering. It's not for people where life is perfect and everything is sunny. It's like they're at desperate moments in their lives, and what are they going to do?
Has there been a point in your life where you kind of hit rock bottom and you reached out to God like many of the characters do in this film?
Yes, I think I felt an added closeness to God and a feeling that he was looking over me and taking care of me and with me. And you know, I try, you know, I do a lot of anti-human trafficking work. I'm the Goodwill Ambassador for the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime and have been since 2009. So I do a lot of advocacy, a lot of activism, and I always pray for guidance in that and pray to be useful in that fight.
Do you believe in the cross of Christ?
I'm a pastor.
If you believe, the question is, what are you going to do about it?
It has been established that there is a niche audience of Christians who want content, and I think this film provides that content, but at a much higher level than many previous Christian-themed films before. This film really is cinematically sound. You know, it's beautifully told, it's beautifully photographed, the performances are all riveting, the story is strong. It is about a Christian theme, but it works on all the other levels of filmmaking, whereas some of the earlier incarnations of Christian film were just the message and they didn't have the film. And this has got everything, so I think people will really enjoy it.
There's a whole world of people out there who need help.
Mira Sorvino starring in a new film, Do You Believe? It opens here in St. Louis March 20th, and we'll be back with more of On the Screen right after this.
My daughter.
Come here.
I love you, Dad.
Over 13 million people are affected by famine, war, and drought in the Horn of Africa.
When you hear about suffering on this scale, you feel powerless.
But there's hope, because saving lives doesn't take a lot.
It just takes a lot of us.
Text a donation of $10, but do more than donate. Forward the facts to everyone you know.
Forward from our site.
Forward on Facebook.
And forward on Twitter.
We are the relief.
It's spring and time for the new films to begin opening up at the local theaters, paving the way for those big summer blockbusters. First out of the gate, a film for the adults, the second best exotic Marigold Hotel. It's a sequel to the 2012 hit and features many of the beloved British actors we came to know and love in the first film, with a few new actors checking in.
The Marigold Hotel has been going properly for 8 months now.
Like the first film, it's the continuing story of a group of mature adults from the UK who relocate to India for a better life. There they help to refurbish a once broken down hotel into a place they never want to leave. It once again stars Dame Judi Dench, Maggie Smith, and Dev Patel as Sonny, the hotel owner. This time, though, Sonny decides he needs to expand and buy a second hotel. The need for more rooms becomes even more apparent when two guests try to check in with only one remaining room. One of those guests is played by Richard Gere. He, of course, becomes entangled in the many storylines weaving in and out of this film. Storylines that make us look at growing older in a new way, and may I say, exotic way.
I didn't like this one as much as the first, but then again, I seldom do. But what worked in the first film also works in the sequel. It was beautifully shot, and it was well acted by a group of veteran actors that are spot on. And while Dev Patel's young energy often seemed overplayed, his storyline balanced out the corny senior jokes. While the first exotic hotel was a sellout, this second attempt might have some vacancies. Worth your money? Yes, but don't expect too much.
Are you all right, miss? What did he call you?
Never mind what they call me.
Cinderella is the story old as time, and once again it proves to be timeless. It is a live-action remake of the 65-year-old animated Disney version, but this is not your grandmother's Cinderella. It offers a prequel, if you will, the backstory of how Cinderella ended up with the awful stepsisters and cruel stepmother to begin with. And if that wasn't enough, it answers the question we've all been asking, why didn't she just leave? The film is directed by Kenneth Branagh. It's simply magical, beautifully shot, and the special effects as the coach and white horses turn back into the pumpkin and white mice at midnight are outstanding. It stars Lily James of Downton Abbey fame as Cinderella. The camera loves her. One of the stepsisters is also a colleague from the popular PBS series, Sophie McShera. Both are perfectly cast. Cate Blanchett is the evil stepmother, and she nearly steals every scene.
The message is basically the same in this film as it is in all Princess Tales. Be kind and beautiful in the inside as you are on the outside, and you will win the prize in life. In this case, the handsome prince. While many may criticize the theme, questioning what kind of messages is sending our young girls, I would beg to disagree. Sure, she faced adversity, and she often didn't fight back, but she also never gave up hope. Hope for her, happy ever after. And that's a message we all could live with. It's worth your movie dollar. I'm Dawn Meadows Dixon for On the Screen.